I have to show it on the stream. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm just experimenting with a little bit different way to do this today. March 27th, and just a few hours away from my daughter's birthday, the big 1-9. So happy early birthday, Morgan. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Tonight, I'm going to talk about some of the tools that we use. And to switch it up a little bit tonight, we're going to talk about the sellers first, because I've got a really, really cool tool that I'm going to share this with you. And it is called an equity report. And what this does, and what I did was I just took this from a listing that was in my old neighborhood. So kind of let me share this with you here. It is 306 Donald Circle, for better or worse. This is from my old neighborhood, Spenciola Farms North. 306 Donald Circle, coming soon, $420,000. So I just took the equity from this because I'm very familiar with my neighborhood, of course, and I wanted to give this person some free advertising. So they originally purchased this for $294 in 2005, and the current value of it, according to the price that it's listed at. I would actually disagree with this current value, but we're not going to get into that. Whatever it is, if it's 420, 460, 450, 400, anything in between, whatever number you put in there. And then we put in today's date. We're going to see the appreciation that they've had. So that's just a simple 420 minus 494. Principal paid, that is taken from several factors involving the loan, how much they put down, how much they paid, what their interest was, et cetera, et cetera. And this calculator does all that, and it actually subtracts out closing costs and everything as well. And it shows that they could possibly net $300,000 when they close. Of course, what this doesn't take into, and there's my beautiful picture at the bottom and our logo and all the other information. This is a great tool that we've just been using for maybe about a month now, and it's a wonderful tool for all of our people who own a house, so they can see how much equity they have in their house, so they can see, bottom line, how much do I have in buying power for my next house. These people may be looking to buy a condo and maybe buy in cash, or they might be looking to upsize, and $300,000 will certainly pay off a lot of bills and give them a sizable down payment for their next house as well. So this is called the equity report. It's a lot more involved than what this lets on. I don't want you to think I can just push a button and run that, but it takes me about 4 minutes to run one, and I'm more than happy to run one for you. So if you have a home and you want to email me and say, hey, Randy, run mine at 123 Mockingbird Lane, be happy to do that for you and get that out to you ASAP. So let me switch gears here and share a different screen for a second. It looks like my screen is, there we go. Okay, let's get out of that screen share, minimize this guy, and let's talk about affordability. So we're going to switch back to buyers. So whether you're a seller that's buying or a buyer that's buying your first house here, we're going to switch into home estimates. And this is affordability. What can you afford? So let's get a good view of this here. There's my beautiful picture again. All right, so if you can afford a monthly payment of $2,000. So when you come to meet with me, let me just give you some insight as to what we're going to talk about. You may already be pre-approved. If you're pre-approved, then we know you can afford a $400,000 house or a $375,000 house, something like that. That number that the lender gives you is based on what county you want to live in, what the average taxes are for that price range, and what the average home insurance is for that price range. It's more of an art than a science because they're using exact numbers, but some of those exact numbers are based on estimates. So it's not 100% foolproof. But what they're doing is they're working that backwards and getting you to a payment. What can you afford as a payment? So if you haven't been pre-approved yet, let's sit down, look at your budget and say, what's the most that you can afford as a payment? And just to give you some insight as to what we're going to talk about. So if you tell me the most we can afford as a payment is $2,000, the question I'm going to ask you is, if we were to find the perfect house, the exact number of bedrooms in the exact city, bathrooms, new roof, new HVAC, everything you'd ever want in a house. It even comes with the perfect dog that just lives there and takes care of you and brings you treats and stuff like that without eating them. Would you pay $2,200 a month for that house? Most times I get an answer of yes, I certainly would. What about 2,300? What about 2,400? Eventually, somewhere you're going to cut that off. So what I want to know is, what is the most that you would pay for the perfect house? Because what's going to happen is we're going to be in a house that's like $2,000 and you're going to be doing your own search and you're like, what about this house? What about this house? And we're going to be off track. So we need to be on the same set of tracks. Otherwise the train's going to derail. So let me know what it is. That way I'll set it up. It does not mean that you have to spend $2,400 a month, but I want you to see everything that's available to you. This is a long-term investment. It should be treated as such. All right, rant over. Let's get back into this. So monthly payment, if you say $2,000, that's including a small PMI payment, normal taxes, normal hazard insurance, and normal principal and interest. Almost lost it there. Payment, okay? And you may bring to closing $42,000. This is definitely an estimate, and it does not take into account first-time home buying and such as well. So this is something that will let you know how much you can afford. Here are some estimated conventional costs. All of these are, for the most part, pretty high, and most lenders are going to overestimate these in the beginning. They may have an origination fee of 1%. They may not have an origination fee of 1%. Okay, home inspections, processing, etc., pest inspection, surveys, all of that fun stuff that may or may not be included. But these are going to be pretty close to what you're going to be bringing. And if you're putting down, I forget what I said I was putting down, what percentage. It looks like we're putting down 10% in this case. So the blue part here is the 10% that you're putting down, 27,000, and then the other 15,000 is prepaids and closing costs. A lot of lenders separate those two. They talk about prepaids and they talk about closing costs. I just lump them all together and say closing costs are everything that is not your down payment. So it's just semantics there. All right, let's jump out of affordability here. And let's open our third slide. It's a lot of buttons to push. I just wish I could just click on one. This is one of my favorites, buy now or buy later. I hear the talk about interest rates and stuff all the time. Let me move this over. For you guys, it's going to stay in the same place, but let me make this so you can see a little bit more of it here. All right. Is it better to buy now or buy later? Of course, you can guess by the fact that it's circled. And you may be telling yourself, as I've had many disagreements with people before, they're like, well, it's very convenient for you to say that we should buy now. Yes, it is very convenient for me. It helps me. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather you buy now, but it's also true. Let me show you the numbers. I'm a big numbers guy. Don't try to appeal emotionally to me. Just show me the numbers. If it makes sense in numbers, then it's going to be something I'm going to do. So what we did was we compared this with, and I think it's today's date. Actually, I think I just made this tonight. I'm pretty sure I used today's date with all the calculations. So if you bought a $300,000 house now and you put 5% down, let me make this just a tiny bit bigger. Yeah, there we go. All right. Scroll back up here so you can see this better. All right. $300,000 house, 15 grand, 5% down, prepaids, closing costs, blah, blah, blah. You're going to pay about $28,000. That's not really what we're focusing on, but I don't want to gloss over it either. Your loan amount is going to be the $300,000 minus your down payment. Unfortunately, the closing costs just disappear into oblivion. And if you went with today's interest rate of 6.5, your principal and interest plus the property taxes plus insurance and PMI would be about $22.89. And so if you're looking for a $300,000 house and you're like $2,000 is our budget, I'm sorry, $22.89 is probably really going to be your budget. Let's take a closer look as to what that looks like. Okay. So the value, we're just going to assume for sake of argument that what you purchased the house for is its value. Okay. You may be getting a good deal, a bad deal, but we're just going to assume you get a normal deal. Current value, 300,000. If it's appreciating at 5%, we're just going to say buy now or buy 2 years from now. It's going to appreciate about $30,000 in that time. So the estimated future value is going to be about $330,000, 750. All right. So now this is still the now side over here. So if you buy for 300, you refi in 2 years at 2 years from now's rate. And that 2 years from now's rate, I'm just making that up. I just made it lower than now. Most financial economists are saying that the rates are going to lower. We don't know by how much. So it's all going to be in line because I'm using the same rate over here. Now, if we refinance, our payment's going to drop to $1,965. So you see it dropped $324. Okay. As opposed to if you waited 2 years, the future price is going to be, what the value of it is. You're going to put $15,000 and change, almost $16,000 down. I guess about $16,000 down. Interest rate, your payment is now going to be $2288. Sorry. And here's the thing. Unless rates go down again, and if rates go down again, you can refinance here too. But if rates don't go down anymore, you're now stuck with this payment. You're basically stuck with the same payment that somebody else had. They paid their mortgage down some. They've got equity. So if you're player number one, you now have $52,000 in equity in your house. If you're player number two, you have $16,000 in equity in your house. So you're, I don't know, what is that? Almost $36,000 in equity behind. And you're never going to catch up because your payment is $300 a month more. So just a little bit of information there for you with equity. And let me get out of my screen share here. There we go. First one we went over was equity, how much you can get in equity. Second one is like your payment breakdown. And the third one is, should I buy now or should I buy later? If you are already a homeowner and you want an equity report, please ask me for it. I would also ask that you ask for the, is it better to buy now or buy later thing as well, and pass that on to somebody. Pass it on to someone you love. Give them the information that's going to change their life. Hope this is helpful to you. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Get a good night's sleep. I'll see you Thursday.